Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're your hosts, Tanya Lee and Johanna Burkhart, and this is episode 114. We are breaking down urban legends. I am so excited for this episode.
I am too, and I know a lot of other people are too. They're like, I know my husband is one of them. He's like, I cannot wait for this episode. And just because we're talking about legends and being, it's not really urban, but it is mystical. I am a princess unicorn tonight.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you're I love that you brought out the mystical and the unicorn of what things are.
We're just going to throw it all in the mix.
So listen, if you are on YouTube watching us right now, or even on the replay, hit that like button and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so that you get our live streams. We are really appreciative if you hit that like button. Hit it, because the more people who hit like, the more people who actually see it on YouTube. So
you like us. Don't we see you sitting in your closet with your beer or your glass of wine, watching the breakdown.
So if you're on live chat right now, you might have to go up a little bit and then hit the like button, because it puts you automatically into that chat room. But I already see that we have some people on too as well.
We do. We have
we have Anna here. I love my little Anna.
And there's my husband.
There, look there. We have our family.
Thank you, fam, for showing up for us.
So one of the things I love about, I have been fascinated with urban legends since I was a kid. And one of the things, it's really easy with urban legends, especially, to think that they're just horror or scary stories. But actually, some of these can be really bland, or some things that we just brought up thinking that we know, because these are things that were passed down and they're more modern, or somebody told them something, and it just kind of expands. And one of the things when Johanna and I were talking about this and going through, like, what are we going to bring up, what are we going to tell, like let's see if anyone brings it and things in and so forth. But it's easy to get lost even on the internet on some of these urban legends, because I don't know how you felt, Johanna, but I felt like not everyone had the same story on specific ones that we remember. And I was like, well, this is different from how I remember this. And I kind of got lost in that rabbit hole on some of those ones.
I just feel like people, it's just like gossip. Like the story changes so much. You're like, what of it? Like, I always want to know, like, who is the originator of this story? Like, who's the one who started putting this into circulation?
Yeah. And that's the thing. So like, you don't necessarily know all of, the facts on that, because some of it is so word of mouth. And a lot of this is based on, for the urban legends that are more horror or scary, is it feeds on our fear to keep us from doing things, especially when we're children.
Yes. Yes. What is the one? I know, I don't know if this is an urban legend or not, but I know it became a thing for a bit of time. Wasn't it like String Man or Tall Man or something like that?
Oh, the Slender Man. The
Slender Man. That's it.
Yeah. The Slender Man. So that was actually made, and some of these are classic horror movies that, that's the thing. Some of these urban legends become movies. There's a movie called in the 90s, I think 1998 or something, called Urban Legends. These are some of the ones. I Know What You Did Last Summer was based on the Hook Man. There's variations of Bloody Mary. And for those of you who don't remember Bloody Mary is the one where you look in the mirror and you say her name a specific amount of times.
I never heard of that one. We were talking, my husband was talking to me about that one. I was like, no, I never did. Like, now it makes me want to go look in the mirror and say it 3 times.
Well,
I want to see what happens.
There's a movie called The Candyman that I wasn't super young. I was a teenager. I was probably about Anna's age. I was probably around, 13 when I saw it. But to this day, I have not been able to watch The Candyman again, because it scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of me, because, you had it, and it was based kind of like on Bloody Mary, where if you said his name a specific amount in the mirror, he would show up. And there's one, and there's multiple urban legends in this. And one was, the killer comes through your medicine cabinet. And I actually
wrong on so many
levels. And so I actually had to look that up, because I was like, is that true? Like, why would they go through the medicine cabinet? But there's actually one story that is a true story, that someone did go through the medicine cabinets because it was really easy in the apartment settings to pull them into another apartment to get in there. And one, happened to kill somebody doing that, and it became this urban legend
That is
of
so
like that's
terrible that I
and
laugh,
that's
but
yeah, right. So that's how some of this stuff comes about. So I think that's, one of the scary ones that, and like how you said, the Slender Man, the Hook Man, I Know What You Did Last Summer was another one.
I never watched any of that shit. See, here's the thing. I was
I was
born on
big on
Friday the 13th. I was born on Friday the 13th. So when my birthday fell on Friday the 13th, I hated scary movies, yet that's what my friends wanted to watch. So we
Yeah.
would sit there and watch Freddy Krueger and Jason, and my dad would come around. We had a huge window in front of the living room, and he'd scare the shit out of us. And that, and then when the Saw movies came out, I just can't.
Oh,
I'm not a scary movie person, so I don't know a lot of these things.
well, and I stopped actually watching a lot of scary movies, a couple years back because I got kind of bored of it. And it wasn't something that I was interested in anymore. So it's funny how, things have changed as you get older. But some of these tales still stick with me. And one of them was, Bloody Mary on there. But there's also those obscure ones where they are not scary, but they kind of like could be true. And you're like, you've heard it before, like the spider bite one. I have heard that before, that someone got bit by a spider and they came back and it infested in their skin and all baby spiders came out.
God, I'm gonna have such bad dreams tonight.
Right. And I'm like, oh, like I've like that. I remember hearing that as a kid. I was like, yeah, don't get bit by a spider. They can lay eggs in you. But the science, proves like that that's not technically possible. But
well,
there's some
I
scary
swear
stories
I've heard of ears too.
right? Yeah. Like do you remember like certain stories on this?
Yes.
And then like that's what was really weird for me. And like when we were going through this list, there was some on here that I was like, well, wait a minute, that is true. Like the candy and Halloween.
I want to go back to the spider though.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I totally had it and I totally lost it. What was the one with the spider? Damn it.
It's on the top 10. We're going to share
No,
some.
but I had something with the spider. Oh, okay. So I don't think this is an urban legend. I don't know. Maybe it could be, but it reminded me. Have you ever heard that you like swallow a ridiculous amount of spiders in your sleep?
Now, apparently there's a study that you at least swallow one spider a year. That's what I have read. I don't know if
Just a
that's
year?
true.
I heard it was way more than that.
I think it's like once a year. Now I have heard from some of my nurse friends and so forth, or that where people have had bugs in their ears and shit. Like I've seen that.
This is so bad.
But like this is how urban legends start. Like one story can like throw something into this manifestation of like the scariest shit that happens, and then it kind of becomes a legend out of it. And that's what I've always been fascinated with history, with that level. It's like I had said, like there's certain things that we just grew up hearing. I mean, one like I said, with the candy for Halloween, that we had to make sure it wasn't laced. Like who came originally with that story? It had to come from somewhere, right?
I never got the laced thing, but they searched my candy for needles.
Or an apple with razors.
I have heard that. I would love to know who came up with that shit, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Anna, I'm cussing a lot tonight.
She'll be like, it's fine. We in New Jersey is an extremely weird state to begin with, but it has a lot of weird stuff that comes.
You have to talk about the Midgetville, because this is what my husband is excited about, because you brought it up and then he was down that rabbit hole so fast. I mean, there he went.
Well, this actually, who reminded me, I don't know if she's on tonight, is Allison. She actually emailed us and reminded us of Midgetville. Now, Midgetville is an actual place. It's in North Jersey. And the story is, it's a small town, all tiny houses, and it's where small people live. And it's called Midgetville. It's actually a real place. But there are stories around it about how that they are unfriendly and they throw rocks at your car and shit if you come to the town. So that I can't claim is real or not, but the town itself exists. There are some historical things about Midgetville, and I was fascinated with this town when I was a kid because I was like, I always want to go to Midgetville. It's where all the people from Wizard of Oz.
But did you actually go there?
No, I have not. I know Allie was near there in that spot, but there, there are people because it's North Jersey. I live in South Jersey, so it's a little bit different. You have to know New Jersey's divided in three parts: North, Central, and South. So it's almost like different states to begin with. Nobody remembers
Nice.
Central, but North Jersey's is very different than South Jersey. But I never had been there. But some of the history of it was the Ringling Brothers. He had a house that he lived back there, and some of the people that worked with him, he created this town for them to feel more comfortable because of the size and so forth. And there's only, I think, like 8 or 9 houses that is considered Midgetville, but it does exist. I don't know if they'll throw rocks at you. I'm not going to try it.
It's not there anymore. My
Yeah,
husband watched a video. It like a part of I think part of the storm, one of the storms took a lot of it out.
yeah, I believe that's true. And I don't know if anything was ever, built up again or anything. That happened years ago.
I think it was
On
Sandy.
there. But it exists. It
Yeah.
absolutely it did exist at one point. But a lot of this stuff does exist. New Jersey has its own magazine called, and I have to plug it because it's it's an amazing magazine called Weird New Jersey. And it's these guys who basically started this magazine of all the weird places that they heard about that were historical that kind of had some urban legends to it. So
Mhm.
New Jersey's really known for that.
Well, I can tell
Um,
you that New Jersey has weird ass energy because when I went up to visit you, there was certain lands that we drove over that I thought I wanted to just die. It was just I got so sick. I got
There's a
so
lot of
sick.
Native American history out here. There's a lot of Native American
I
history.
mean, we went to this one property and I was just like,
I forgot
man,
about that.
I got so sick. And, you know, th- that day there was some, energy shifts going on anyway, but it was these one certain spots we would drive through in this one land that we were on. And I was just like, something happened on this land because I was not feeling good. And I was, and I'm real sensitive to energy like that. So I'm can pretty much just safe bet that I probably won't ever live in New Jersey.
We're home of also the New Jersey Devil, which is I know Anna wants me to talk about. So New Jersey Devil is the story of a woman named Mother Leeds. Now there's different variations of it. But the one that I remember, and so people are going to either say I'm right or wrong, is that she was they lived in a village in the Pine Barrens. Pine Barrens is very well known out here as the mecca of woods out here. People who live in the Pine Barrens are known as the Pineys.
Are they pine barrens or parents?
Barrens.
Okay.
The Pine Barrens is the piney people, as we like to
Oh my
call them.
God.
They even have their own bumper sticker called Piney Power.
What?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, for sure. I lived before where I was living. I was right near the Pine Barrens, so I am very familiar with it. I grew up near it. But the New Jersey Devil is one of the stories, and it was about this woman named Mother Leeds who was married to a guy who was like the town drunk, and he was very abusive and mean to her. But she had a lot of children, and her 13th child, she was
Well, first of all, she had
yeah
12 too many.
yeah. So apparently, because she got pregnant for the 13th time, she said, "Let this one be the devil," because she was so with her abusive husband and the whole shebang. And this baby transformed into this devil creature that scared the town as
Oh
he
my
got
God.
older. And so there's a lot of like. I can't tell you every Halloween event we have out here. There's always something to do with it. You have a haunted hayride. It's New Jersey Devil. Like, you know, they have a lot of stuff to deal with that. So that's always interesting to know. Do you have any in yours, Joanna, in North Carolina?
Well, we have a lot of, our town is known for Blackbeard.
Mm.
So there's a lot of stories around Blackbeard the pirate. For those who don't know what Blackbeard is, he's a pirate. Um, I don't know. I did not do my research and look it up, but I know that there is one house. So this is interesting. When I was in my real estate days, there's a house and we have in Beaufort. It's been voted the coolest small town in America like a bazillion times.
Mm.
And it looks like serious white picket fence, traditional, hometown America when you drive through it. But there's a lot of historic society homes in there that are plaqued and all of that. There's one that I remember doing a showing, and they're, I don't know if it's an urban legend, but it's a cool story. So I'm going to tell you that it's one of those cool houses that has those big pillars on the front, it's like multiple stories. It's got the big white pillars. And it was back in the day, it was a children's hospital. And like during the wars and, way, way back, and I don't even have any kind of dates to give you guys, probably the 1800s, but they all died in there. And there's a blood stain. Actually, I think there's two is in the wood. And no matter what they have done to the wood, to strip it, they've resanded it, whatever, the stain always comes back. So there's two. There's one that was underneath the bed and there's one at the top of the stairwell. And nobody's ever been able to stay living in that house because they always hear the children,
Creepy.
and a lot of weird stuff happens. So we have a lot of houses that are deemed haunted. We have a whole haunted trail,
we have that too.
But again, we have Fort Macon here. So we were, this was a military, area, and that's where a lot of the soldiers were. And then you have all the pirate stuff that happened. So, there's all kinds of.
Well, I took you through actually one of the urban legends when you said this feels weird. Remember I said, oh, this is the old White Horse Pike. This is where the Acco Ghost is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a story about a little boy who was in a dead end street, and he was playing ball and he got hit by a car on a dead end street. And there's a story that goes with it that if you go there at a specific time at night and you beep your horn 3 times. Now, some people have really like explicit directions of like, you got to pull the car up to this crack and then beep the horn 3 times, kick your headlights off, and you'll be able to see this boy playing ball.
Yeah.
So like it's that kind of stuff that fascinates me, and then at the same time I'm horrified by the people who live on the street who have to hear how many times
they're so sick of hearing the horn.
Like, get the hell out of here. That's why I don't necessarily think Midgetville, when they said that they chase them with rocks, I'd be like, listen, if I live there, I'd be chasing you with rocks too if you were always on my property.
Well, right. I mean, think of the Amish people. People go there to gawk at them and stare at them. I mean, eventually you're going to get pissed and start throwing shit at them. I mean, come on, leave me alone. I'm just trying to live my life.
Now, I looked up your state because I was curious what is the main legend for North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they said it was the beast of, now I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Bladenboro? The beast of Bladenboro.
Your guess is as good as mine.
This started in the 1950s when livestock animals were found with their jaws broken and completely drained. Witnesses claimed to see some sort of wolf or giant cat draining them of their blood. The town began to arrange for group hunts to kill the animal, but attacks suddenly stopped. And that is what North Carolina is known for. I thought that was kind of interesting if you've ever heard of it or not.
No, because and you, just like Jersey, North Carolina has its own corridor. So where I live, it's its own little entity of island. But Blackbeard, I know that they're so here's the ones for Blackbeard. So it's truth, legends, fictions, and myths. We have Blackbeard hid buried treasure somewhere. They said, sorry, this is not true, which how do you know? Like, if you didn't find it, how do you know?
That's true.
Blackbeard's dead body swam around the ship 3 times. That's just a weird thing to put out there. Let me
It
just tell
feels
you.
very Goonies like.
Right. Goonies is so good. What a great movie. But this says, I love how they like label this. They said, yeah, unlikely. And then
Unlikely.
and then it says Blackbeard would light his hair on fire before battle. And their answer is sort of like, what?
Well, if you light your beard on fire, it would be gone. Like, I don't understand. You can only do that once.
He would light his hair on. It says he would put little candles and pieces of a fuse in his hair and light those, and it would give off smoke, giving the pirates a fearsome, demonic appearance. So I'm really thinking that this is where these Pirate of the Caribbean movies came from.
Or the Caribbeans, one or the other.
or yeah, true. It says number 4, Blackbeard was the most successful pirate ever. They wrote nope. Blackbeard retired from piracy and lived as a civilian for a while. Mostly true till the mid 1718. He ran his ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, into the sandbar, effectively destroying it. So there's a whole thing about that. And then Blackbeard left behind a journal of his crimes, and someone put this one is not true, that it's a rumor. And again, how do you know? Like, but there was more I heard. Like people used to say, and I don't remember if it was Blackbeard or not, but his house where he was, I mean, people have reported like hearing cries and hearing things from that area. So there's all kinds of weird little tales that are out here that people know.
Yeah. And that's always the fun part is to see what kind of tales. And in fact, when I travel, that's like one of my key things. I love looking at like the offbeat travel book of like the offbeat things to look at, but I also look up urban legends or things that are like, you know, told tales and stuff like that. Cause I'm fascinated with it. I'm fascinated what people tell or what they believe in or, you know, what they've seen. You know, every visit I do, there's always something that is one urban legend that I will go and try to seek out because it's, you know, I'm curious. And also sometimes you debunk them and you go, that was bullshit.
Right.
There's one I had a laugh about. I have to share this one with you.
Okay, sure.
The state one, Ford, Nebraska. Okay. It's pretty bad, but I have to, it's not the greatest story, but you know, because it's about bunnies, but it's called Sadistic Farmers versus Bunnies.
What?
Listen, ready? Listen to the story. It says 2 farmers bought fireworks. They got drunk and decided that they hated rabbits.
I love this story already.
This was wrong. They decided to get some sadistic pleasure and strap each rabbit to a firework so they could watch them run off into the distance and blow up. Horrible.
Really? It's totally
terrible people. Okay.
Really? Don't do this at home, children.
All right. Except one badass bunny.
Was it Bugs Bunny?
Ran the opposite direction towards the farmer's beloved truck, jumped into the driver's seat window, and blew the whole shit up.
Nice. That's his karma.
First of all, I want to be like, did these farmers watch Monty Python and the bridge with the killer bunny? They should have known never to trust a bunny.
Oh my God. I'm over here. Is it Bugs Bunny?
Yeah. So there's like these weird like stories and like, are they, you know, these are, you know, some of the urban legends that come across that I think are like, what?
Well, see, I'm originally from San Diego, for those that don't know. And so the cool one for me, it's not scary or anything. And I remember my stepmom telling me this was Munchkinville in La Jolla.
Oh.
And it was
like we're talking a lot about small people.
I know. It was supposed to be, so the legend that I remember, I didn't like look it up. I have it pulled up though, because was that they built these houses for the people that were from Wizard of Oz. They were the Munchkins.
Oh.
And so that, you know, they had their home, and supposedly it was like a whole like street in La Jolla. And La Jolla is a very well-to-do neighborhood. We're talking multi-million-dollar homes on cliffs, you know? So this is where it all was. And I remember as a child, we actually went looking for them. And I remember that there was some houses that we saw, but it was really hard to tell, are they really for Munchkins? But the theory was is inside they were built for their size, right? So it says, I just looked it up. It says the legend of Munchkin homes in La Jolla. And it says the truth behind, here's the real deal. There aren't any Munchkin houses. So you just totally bursted my bubble. And it has nothing to do with the Wizard of Oz. While it says, while the author wrote portions of the book while in San Diego through the movie did not come out around the time the homes were built, perpetuating the rumors that the little people who played the Munchkins in the movie lived in the houses during the filming. And I didn't know about that part, that they lived there during the filming. But the location explains the optical illusion of a shorter stature. The homes are built on a hill slope just below the grade of the road, so that the road and the structure appear shorter than normal than the houses. So that makes sense. And they were built in the 1930s. But the story mutated into something more around the time the movie came out.
Right.
I guess is what they're saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what did they escalate it to?
The Munchkins lived there, that they retired
like
there, and that's where Munchkins went to live.
And they had lollipops, and that's where the Lollipop Guild lived. Like,
that's it. That's where they lived.
So that's it.
Well, for when I was a kid, all I remember is, that the Munchkins from Wizard of Oz, they all got together and they bought all these houses and had them built in La Jolla, and we would go and look. And they do, obviously the houses look like they're built for smaller people, and it would have been really cool if that was true.
Can we talk about how cool it would be to be the person that created this urban legend?
Right.
Because like I think about it, I'm like, I think that might be my bucket list thing to do in life, is to create an urban legend that have people go around thinking that something is real when it's like, that was so full of shit, but that's like my inside joke.
And they talk about it for the rest of
talk about it for the rest of their lives, and it's passed from generation to generation. How much of that does exist? I'm sure there's plenty of it.
Well, and it gives people something to write about and talk about. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. It is awesome. But I often wonder about that with people, like, like, or like, so. And this is one I forgot about because, I was looking at the ones that weren't scary and everything was, and I think I brought this up to you. I'm like, I completely forgot about that one. I thought that was true. Was that when Walt Disney died, that he was frozen because he was hoping to find a cure for his illness.
See, I never heard that.
I did. I grew up listening to that. I was like, yeah, he's frozen. He's going to come back.
When did Walt Disney die?
Oh God, I don't remember the year, but it was a long time ago.
Way to come with your facts. Oh wait, here we go. Cryogenically frozen.
Yeah, that was like
a handsome man.
Yeah, Walt Disney was. He had a really weird life. Like there was a lot of like backstories of Walt Disney.
66. He was cremated in 66.
Yeah, so a lot. That was one of the stories. Or how about? And now I don't know. I know that people have tried to debunk this or to try this. There is that if you drank Pop Rocks and soda, your stomach would explode.
Oh my God. If you have done this and your stomach did not explode, I want to talk to you.
I've seen people on YouTube try stupid shit. I'm like,
Don't go and try it though. It's just, if you've already done it. I don't want to, we're not, disclaimer, I'm telling you not to do this.
Yes. We don't want anyone trying stuff that, but like, these are some of the stuff that we grew up listening to for that. One of the state ones that I wanted to go over that I'm actually extremely fascinated with. I have a relative who lives in Colorado. And she's a photographer, and she probably doesn't even know I'm mentioning this. Maybe she'll watch this. I don't know. But she had taken pictures of the Denver airport, and the art in there is like crazy dark. It's like apocalyptic. and they have this giant horse. Now, I've never been to the Denver airport, but like from there, they have a giant horse that they call Lucifer, and the art there is really crazy. And um, one of the things I read as an urban legend was that the Denver airport is built on a satanic temple, and there's all this occult stuff that goes with it, and that this art kind of brings this out and everything. So I
This
kind
is
of did
so this is
I was like, what is this about? But what's crazy is she had taken a picture of this horse, and I'm like, that is the creepiest, coolest thing ever. I need to go to this airport. And she goes, yeah, the artist died. The horse head fell off and like killed him. And I'm like, what? But that's actually a true story. But then all of this stuff came out of it too, because I had to do more research on it, because there's a lot of different artists that uh you know are portrayed there in the airport. But there was one named Leo Tanguma who in 1995 had a lot of these art that you can see, and Johanna's pulling it up right now.
Is this it though? The creepy guy on the
No,
front
no,
cover?
no, 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 that's not it. It's the other link that I had sent you on the art itself. But some of it was called The Children of the World Dream, and it's a piece where hopefully Johanna will be able to pull it up soon. But it's kind of a like, these are the things that people are seeing before they get on a plane. So I'm just, like, debating whether, like, is this something you want to see before you go on the plane? But from what I saw from interviews and what I read on interviews with this artist, is he was trying to show how the world can be depleted or, apocalyptic, but also show peace and harmony in it too, that there's good and there's evil. And he wasn't really going in like a satanic note on there. But some of the art on there is kind of questionable. Do you want to look at an art with, fire burning and two children in a casket and dead animals around it before you get on a plane? I don't know.
No, and could you imagine being a child and going through that airport and seeing that? I mean,
I think the art is pretty incredible and cool looking, and I want to go there, but I don't find it horrifying. Like, I don't find it, because he's got a way of doing it that's like, oh, it's friendly. Like, they have all smiling children, but then you're like, oh, wait a minute, there's two kids in a casket. Like, you're like, wait a minute, because it's like one of those surreal things where, you can read it so many different ways. So
is
that's
it
where I
just
was.
the Colorado? Okay, so it's just that Colorado piece.
Yeah.
All right, because I had the right page up. It's just that it wasn't. I thought it was a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah, no. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there was a piece of the art on there.
Yeah, I
On
got
there,
it.
but
It's right here. So it's
yeah, that's Lucifer. That's Lucifer the horse.
yeah.
On there, and that's a different artist. Let me see if I can find the other one. And
What's this March 19th date?
well, there's a couple different things that go along with the story. Like, they say that there's like the shape of the airport is actually based on a swastika symbol. Like, there's so much like crazy shit
Wow,
in here.
so they
They're
really went
saying,
hog wild on that one.
yeah, like, this airport apparently has a lot of different things on occult and satanic things that, people have pulled out of it, or there's weird symbols that come out. And
Yeah, it says the airport runway also apparently resembles a swastika.
yeah. So, and that's Lucifer. That's what the horse is named for. That killed the artist when he was trying to get that up.
What is with the Connecticut melon heads?
So these are some of the other ones for states. I didn't read the Connecticut one. We should probably read that one. It's probably
Myth states that, let's see. This myth states that the creatures are escapees of an insane asylum that burnt to the ground, and that their strange appearance is due to the subsequent cannibalism and inbreeding. That sounds delightful.
that's what Connecticut's known for.
Oh my God, that's so terrible.
Mm. Yeah.
And this one is Delaware's Mr. Choose.
Yeah. The state one really had me laughing, because some of these ones I'm like, what? Like, they had some crazy ones in here. Kentucky was a Sleepy Hollow road. People claim to hear terrified baby screams along the road near Cryberry Bridge, where desperate parents would allegedly throw their sickly babies to their death.
God.
Like there's some really dark shit out there on some of these urban stories, and I'm like, what? This is what you're
There's
known
a
for
haunted high school in Idaho.
in Idaho?
Idaho.
You think? You
Sorry,
think
I had
when
to.
like I mean, how many? I guess they don't put these on their tourist page. I mean, some things I think.
Come on. Why the hell not? I mean, this is some people's dream right here. It says that this school is just full on weird, creepy stories, but here's one. Security cameras footage from the 2014 shows a shadow figure moving on camera, and ghost hunters say it's some sort of, or came to the conclusion of paranormal activity. And the shadow actually, they see the shadow moving on camera. It also appears to cause the lights to flicker on and off, and its presence was so definite it actually triggered a security alarm in a building. The ghost ate my homework? Question mark. You know, I there's so many things I have to say about that, and we'll just
I wonder how many people use that as an excuse
for real.
for when they were lived in Idaho if they were a high school student.
We're not even going to talk about the clown one because that one's just gross. But
I don't want to look at anything with clowns. I'm not a big.
okay, so here's a Bigfoot one, the Crossley monster. It says more
Yeah.
Bigfoot. You know, I actually have I'm going to stop sharing the screen, but I actually have guidance on from my spiritual team, you know, and on Sasquatch, that he's an elemental, and that there's why people have seen him in the woods, you know, what we label Bigfoot, because they are a classification of beings, just like we would label elves or unicorns or any of those things. And so if you're of that frequency, then you have the possibility of seeing them, you know, but that they're real. That's the guidance I receive. And I was like, this is really cool. I really want to be friends with one.
Is one named Harry?
It could be.
Because, you know, Harry and the Hendersons.
I
Because that's the
know.
way I would imagine Bigfoot to be. Now, there's a woman, I believe this was in Michigan, that like had a family, a Sasquatch in her backyard, and she was like feeding them and shit, and it was like all over the news. And I remember I was like, I was following it because I was like fascinated with it, going like, this is batshit crazy. She can't quite get pictures of it, yet she could talk about so much detail on like how the family didn't want pictures and stuff. Like
Well, yeah, because I don't think the world's, I mean, could you imagine if the world would be ready for these beings to just walk around? You know, it'd be like, you know, if the unicorns came out of hiding, like, come on.
So what does your team think of like the Loch Ness monster and stuff like that?
I haven't asked.
Mm. Can you ask about that?
I am. I'm in transit.
Maybe another night.
We're talking.
Maybe another night you can ask about.
No, what they're saying, no, I'm getting response. They're saying that's what we call it. And it is the Loch Ness monster is a not necessarily a species, but it is part of a species. And it's just a dinosaur size, as we would classify a dinosaur size animal, just as like they're talking about some type of shark, I guess, that's in the ocean that that people talk about, that is also real. They're saying that we have no idea the different species of animals and sizes that exist out there at the depths of the ocean, or in lakes, or, you know, in forests. There's no way for us to physically wrap our brain around what is out there and that we just aren't aware of. But we are the ones that we get these glimpses of these things. And of course, we label it as a monster, even though it's not there to hurt us. It's not wanting to hurt us.
That's a good point.
It's just scary to us because it's gigantic, you know? So, but if you think about it, it's the same type of classification as you look at, you know, lizards, and then you look at like crocodiles and alligators. And then, you know, I mean, think of where they came from and what they've mutated from, you know what I mean? And evolved from. Same with cats. I mean, I can definitely tell you my cat is not from this planet. I'm just going to put it out there right now. She is not, she is a galactic kitty.
Well, look at Egypt. Egypt, like, they made cats like into gods. So,
Because they
um,
transmute.
yeah,
Cats, they sit on you and they just take all your bad stuff away. They're like, they're awesome.
I know. That's why I got 6 of them. I don't want any of that bad energy around me. None of that juju.
Where's my cats? I can see you too, sitting in your chair in your fancy like ISIS outfit, right? And cats like propped all the way up the stairwell of the chair. I can just totally see it right now.
Cats have great personalities too, because they just don't care.
No, they don't care. They don't
They're
care.
selective. They're very selective, which is what I love about them.
Yeah.
So there's another one which I have to go on because I got to bring this up because this is an urban legend that's not scary. Well, it could be scary depending on what kind of, thing comes about it, but this is something that we've all have gotten at one point. When I was younger, they came out in different forms. Now that we have, email and social media, it comes out and electronically and you get it quickly. But our chain letters. I mean,
Let's just
let's break this down a little bit. When you get a chain letter that says that you have to do something in a certain amount of time, where you have to send this to 10 people, you get a specific luck coming out. Or if you send it to 2, or if not, you get really, really bad luck and something bad happens to you. Like, that is a huge urban legend here. But we still get these because they're almost believable to the point where they're like, well, if you send this to 10 people, you might get $1 million. And you're like, well,
if I send it
why
to 10
not?
people, I may lose 10 friends.
Like, why not? Like, have you fallen into that trap? I tend not to anymore.
No.
Yeah. If someone sends me a chain letter, I usually send a smile and say thank you or on there. But like, I get some of these and I'm like, really? Are we still doing this? Are we
Yeah. Can we stop?
Can we stop doing this? Like, let's talk about this. Or how many forwards do you get of a story that they heard they say to watch out for because, they saw something on there where like, and I'm just, I'm making something up right now. Like, I don't know if this, one that we've recently heard, but like, women beware that, make sure you have your keys ready because if you see that something's blocking your door with a piece of paper or something, then, be careful getting into your car and stuff like that. Like, these are, they're fear-based almost, but yet they
It's all
spread.
fear-based. Well,
They
I mean, think
spread.
about the Facebook crap on Messenger. Like,
Mhm.
don't, this person isn't real, or I don't even know. I just am like, oh God, please stop messaging me. Like, Messenger was the worst invention ever. Like, no, stop. I don't care.
I don't want this. I
I
don't
don't
care
want
about what's
this.
going on.
Leave me alone. Don't do it. So it's not just chain letters or those email forwards. And I'll tell you, email's kind of going away, but I don't miss those either. When you get to 85 forwards and you can tell it's been forwarded 85 times. But the chain letters, no, I've never fallen for that. I was like, no, I just delete it.
Grew up now because we're similar in age or close to it. Now, I grew up like actually getting a letter, like we get a mail.
What?
Oh my God, someone sent me this. I gotta do it. Like, when you're younger, when you get a freaking letter in the mail, it's different.
The fucking phone.
That's how I remember
real chain letter, like a physical chain letter.
Yeah, that's how I remember it in the 90s. We would get like real letters before email existed and all that shit. Like, you would get a chain letter. Well, it would be, you have to send this to 10 people or you get good luck or like whatever message it was. It was trying to
what? I think now that I'm like backing up a minute.
You probably,
I think I remember getting these, but not like to me, but to, and it was like almost like a scam, like, like junk mail.
Yeah.
It was keeping the post office employed.
Well, let me tell you, some of this stuff is also about, when you say, oh, I don't believe it, or I don't, it's not real to me. Anything can be real to you if you make it to some extent, because, you're a manifester. You can,
if you believe it, it's real.
the chain letters are a perfect example of, and a reinforcement of affirmations. So I'm not necessarily against them. I just don't like to get it because I'm like, I don't feel like fucking sending this to 10
I'm
people.
100% against it. Like, let's be real.
I won't send them. I won't send
It's
them. But
not
when I get them,
happening.
I'm like,
I will break your chain in a heartbeat.
you should send. What's the Fleetwood Mac song called? James. You should
Oh, right. Well, okay. So on the same premise,
yeah.
don't step on a crack because you'll break your mother's back.
Oh, yeah.
And going over railroad tracks. Did you ever lift your feet?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Another one that we did was hold your breath while you were passing by a cemetery.
I never did that one.
Yeah, we did that because we thought it was rude.
To breathe?
Yeah, that's how I remember my sister and I remembering it. But I think there's something more to that, that like something would happen to you. But we thought it was
Oh my
because
God.
it was a rude thing to do. So
I don't remember what would happen if you had your feet down over railroad tracks, but to this day,
is
now this
anyone
is
on? We should see if we can get any feedback on that. If anyone remembers that.
it. I can tell you that there's very few beliefs that I still follow, and it's like natural habit when I go. We have trains through here.
Oh yeah.
When we cross a railroad track, to this day I still lift my damn feet. And I don't know why, because I have no idea what would happen if I didn't. And for crying out loud, I know better. And my team would laugh at me, but I just, there's just things that we've done our whole life that we just do on autopilot. And that's
Well,
one
I
of
think
them.
that also kind of merges the line of superstitions too. Like
Yes,
urban legends go with superstitions, which
for real.
that's the same thing with a lot of people. Sports fanatics do that with superstitions where they wear specific clothing, or they'll,
They don't change
the
their
guys
underwear.
will, change their underwear, or the guys will have to grow a beard so their team will win. Like,
Put it this way, if your team winning requires you not to change your underwear, we have a problem. Do not come anywhere near me. Oh my God, it's so bad.
that is, yeah, it's like, what's the point of it? I'd like to know, if people catch the replay of this, comment on some of your favorite urban legends, because I can probably go on and on of this on this subject of getting lost in this rabbit hole of them. But yeah, I would like to know what other people come up with. I know one of them, like I said, was the most common one, which is chain letters. Another one that I kind of remember, but like I'm like, was it true? So I don't remember. Was fast foods, like McDonald's was using real, like, yeah, like I know it's not using, so
Kangaroo
there's
meat.
statistics of specific meats and stuff like that. But then they were saying they were using specific things like would you say kangaroo meat?
That was Jack in a Box. It was kangaroo meat.
Oh, kangaroo meat. Or I think McDonald's was earthworms or something like that. They
Ew.
were using, and I'm like, what?
God, thank God I don't eat that crap.
But like it turned out to be like half soy or something like that. But like there's like
Oh, they're
weird
just soy
things,
worms. No big deal.
but like there's weird things, especially when it comes to fast food. So I always find that weird. But there's also things that like you just remember, like, how you said, like the crack. Don't step on a crack to break your mother's back. Like
Right.
you just brought up, like the other one was if you stop making funny faces, and if you slap them on their back, it will stay that way. Did you ever hear that one?
Yeah. Or it was if you roll your eyes or if you do something like it would mine was a little bit like that, but different. It was worded differently. I don't remember the exact
I
word.
forget what 80s movie made fun of that. Oh my gosh, I need an 80s person on here. There was a Summer's 80s movie where they made a joke about slapping their back, and their faces were like that through an entire movie. It was great.
Oh, I wish my husband was on because he knows.
Man, I
He's a
forget what
movie
movies it
buff.
was. I think it's like My Crazy Summer or something like that. Oh my God, it was one. I just remember watching that as a kid, laughing my butt off because, we were always told that don't make funny faces. If someone slaps your back, it will stay that way.
Oh my God. Okay. So, okay, I just saw this one and this really is drawing me because I work with the Galactics, but you're going to be going here. So, the Michigan Triangle.
I didn't read that one.
It's
What's that
like the
one?
Bermuda Triangle, but in Michigan. Well, duh, which is nothing like Bermuda again. Oh my God. Except people claim that many storms form on the lake and that the weather is to blame for these strange disappearances. Plus, archaeologists have discovered a ring of prehistoric rocks under the lake that appear to be the remains of an ancient civilization temple. Mysterious red lights have also been seen over the lake, leading many to theorize that UFOs are to blame for the downed planes, and they just put seems legit. Now, let me tell you, interestingly enough, Michigan is a mecca for spiritual
It really
stuff.
is.
And it's so crazy to me because one of the people, I don't really follow her, but I read one of her books. And anyway, long story short, there is a galactic receiving station in Michigan, and there's galactic retreats held there. And
Same thing with Arizona, like Sedona area. They say that's really big too.
well, oh yeah. I mean, when I went to Sedona on the retreat I held, we went to Bell Rock and I sobbed because I could just feel that galactic connection. That's known to be the, alien headquarters. But I was blown away about a year ago when I figured out how tuned in Michigan is. It's just crazy. So now I kind of want to
I
go
kind
there.
of want to know like how, because I'm, it's very close to the Canadian border too. Like I'm
Mhm.
sure there's even more of that in Canada as well.
I don't know. My son really wants to go to Canada, so maybe he'll tell us one day.
Going to Canada to visit.
It's either Canada or Russia. So those are the two places that he really wants to be. So I don't know what to tell you about that. But I'm digging this discovered prehistoric rocks under the lake. And there those Michigan, the lakes are huge. So I can see weather systems being there, but I never knew planes and stuff disappeared over those lakes. I had no idea.
Yeah, and you know what's some of those, like when I went to Lake Superior to visit, I was with friends last year, and I was like totally thrown off by it because it looked like an ocean to me. Now I grew up by the Jersey Shore, so I know exactly what an ocean looks like. And I've been by water most of my life. But like I was really like, it's so vast and so big that I'm like, no, this isn't a lake. That's not what a lake is because it's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
the lakes there are humongous. It is not, I mean, I was even I was like, there's a current on here. What's happening? Like it's not what I would typically see as a lake. Not saying that they don't have regular lakes like that too, but I grew up with like a lake being a cedar lake on there. So Lake Superior is blue. It looks like the ocean. I mean, it's really beautiful out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing phases me on that level because and also there's parts of it and even parts of other countries where or states and even with countries that where you go in certain areas and there's nothing out there. Like there's nothing. Like it's just space and nature and so forth. And we're so used to being in a populated area that there's so much of the world where it's not so populated. So yeah, of course I'm sure there's going to be weird things coming up or tales or urban legends. I can't even imagine what it's like across, we're just talking about America. I can't even fathom what the urban legends are in other countries, which could be a whole nother episode on
Oh,
there. Like
for real.
you brought up Loch Ness Monster, but that's like, come on, like there's got to be a zillion of them because there's so much stuff that has not even been touched on there. I'm curious. I lived in Australia when I was younger. I went to school there for a short amount of time, but the outback. I'm sure there's legends out there, urban legends.
I would love, on a side note, to go on an Aborigine excursion through the outback. I'm just throwing
You
that
mean
out there on a
you
public
mean a
forum.
walkabout? Because they call it
Yes,
a walkabout.
I want to go on a walkabout. I
Mm.
want a cane and I want to go on a walkabout.
Until you realize how like there's nothing out there and it's like vast land of
I'll be
desert.
walking about for a
And then you're
while.
like, I need to go somewhere like a hotel.
I'm gonna be walking about a while.
Yeah. There's some real, I mean, I was in a town that was population 10. I shit you not.
Yeah.
I went in, yeah, there was a couple of towns. They were next to each other, but And this is not an urban legend, but this is one of my favorite Australian stories. Is my girlfriend Joe and I, we wanted to go in the outback, and we took a train, and it was a 16-hour train ride to go out there. And um, there's some wild stories on there, but one of the things we want to do was camp out in the outback. And we found this small, tiny town, right? And we wanted to know all the little secrets and the stories and stuff like that. And we didn't hear too many urban tales. We wanted to find Aboriginal art and stuff. We did find that, but the one guy had said, "Hey, go down the road, and down the road you can go. There's a little area for you to go camping, and it's dark. There's a campground and everything, but that's where you can go and stay stationary. You'll be safe there." And I remember her and I were like, "Yeah, we're gonna be safe, and we're gonna be in it, but we'll be in the outback, and it'll be so exciting." And so we're out there, and it's like freaking 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're setting up our tent, and because we were drinking at the bars and stuff and hanging out with the locals. Which, by the way, town of 10, they had literally 6 bars right next to each other, so we just kept
That's
going down with the
ridiculous.
10 people. So we were pretty buzzed, and we set up we set up our tent, right? This is great. We wake in the morning, and I'm like, I hear children. I hear children. What is going on? And we look in there, and there's like 12 kids with hats on, because in Australia you have to wear hats is because of the sun. And
Oh,
they're all staring at us. And we, of all places, found to pitch our tent at a schoolyard. The only schoolyard where two American women pitching a tent in a schoolyard.
that I just want to know what the children thought. Like,
I don't know, but we were like, "What's happening?" We were like grabbing our stuff and getting out, because we thought we were in the outback. We were nowhere near the we were nowhere near the outback.
Oh my God. That's the best story ever.
Not an urban legend, but it's is one of my favorite stories. But yeah, there is a
It's a
lot of
Tanya
history.
legend. It's a
It's
Tanya
a Tanya
legend.
legend. Yeah, but there are a lot of stories out there, and that was my favorite thing to do, was find the folklore of it, especially with Aborigines and so forth. But yeah, so yeah, you never know where some of these urban legends come from or where they start, but that's the fun part about it. And like I said, if you guys have any and want to share it with us, please do so. Comments, let
Yeah,
us
just
know.
post them to our Facebook page, or
We want to know.
or comment on this feed. But just make sure you're liking us, because if you like us, we want to know. So give us a like. click our little bell. Ring my
I want to know, if you
bell.
watch this, if you watch it, hit, comment and say replay.
Let us know, peoples. Let us know that you're on
Yeah.
here and that you like us. We get a lot of feedback, but we would like to hear from you through our, the normal platform ways.
Yeah. And
Plugging
next week,
ourselves.
yeah, because we're getting close to our time, but next week we have a really awesome topic that is probably going to be, I mean, Johanna and I were talking about this, is it's going to be a little bit segmented probably into future episodes as we break things down a little further, but we wanted to go in the overall topics of breaking down dreams.
Yep.
So we're really excited on there, and Johanna's working on getting us a guest on there for dreams. So I'm excited for that, because I have been documenting my dreams since I was a kid. So,
Oh my God, you should like pull out a journal with that shit. So we
oh
should
my
have,
God, I have so many journals. Like, I should probably pull out some of my
yeah,
favorite
you should
stories on
totally do it.
there.
Well, because I have my, like she said, it will get segmented off, because you got astral traveling and you got all these other things that you do in your dream
Lucid
state.
dreaming.
Yeah, lucid
Yeah.
dreaming. I've been timeline hopping in my sleep. So, I mean, there's so many things, but one thing that we all dream to some extent. So, and it's all personal. And what a
Mhm.
symbol means to me probably won't mean the same thing to her. And so I really wanted to find an expert who this is their jam, to really talk about it. So it should be really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun episode where we can break down some of it. So if any of you guys have specific things that you've dreamt about before that you want to bring up on the show,
Join us live, because then we'll bring it up live.
yeah, we'll bring it up live. You can, we can chat about it. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can email us at circus@breakdownlive.com. And we will, bring up your name and so forth, and, your experience or whatever story you want to share. Or if you want us to break down the symbol of what it means, come on, we're going to have somebody on here to talk about it. So this would be
Yeah.
the
Well,
time.
how often are you going to get an opportunity like that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm excited. I'm gonna go through my journals now.
Right.
Find my craziest dreams.
So
Can
allow
you
me to
dissect
fill,
this?
let me allow everybody to fill all your heads with sugar plums and unicorns and princesses, since we've talked
Yeah,
about some weird things.
and not anybody hiding underneath your bed, or if you say the word Bloody Mary too many times, you will be showcased
If
right
you say
next to
my
you.
name 3 times, I might show up at your doorstep on a unicorn.
You know what? We didn't think this through, Johanna. We could have made a batshit crazy story and then made it off as though it was real and see if it flew.
I know we could have created our own legend.
I know. It would have been really cool, but we didn't.
Well, we do now all know the legend of Tanya in the schoolyard. So that's a
Oh
good
yes,
one.
the schoolyard. That's not an urban legend. That actually happened.
No, but I'm sure now a lot of people are going to tell that story. Did you know this woman? She did this.
She went to go in the outback and she ended up with school children. And it's going
She
to be
woke up in the
morphed into something
schoolyard.
like the children weren't live, they were dead. Yeah, let's see how far that Australian story can go.
Right. How mutated it gets along the way.
Yeah, it's the power of the word of mouth or the game of telephone that becomes, skewed.
Right. It's so crazy.
All right, so we will catch you guys next week.
Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.